So here's my dough.
Very good.
And it's not unlike your dough, except that in here I have some lemon zest, there's flour and eggs and sugar, a little bit of butter. And now this is a dough that we're going to roll out just the way we do pasta.
Okay.
So you form the dough just exactly the way you did yours. You let it rest until it's nice and soft. You see how nice and soft that is, and now we can work with it. So I like to do that just working with a quarter piece at a time, because you don't want to put this whole wad through this pasta machine. You know this because you've made so much pasta. The rest you keep covered so that it doesn't dry out. And then I just flatten it a little bit with a little bit of flour, because you don't want to put this through the pasta machine in a wad, otherwise you'll strip the gears. I cheat a little bit, Father, but don't hold that against me.
That's all right.
I start on 2, and then I move to 4. And basically what I want here is a thin enough dough that is like pasta dough. You can almost see your hand behind the dough, because we're going to fry this. We're going to fry it up. And I think the name is just so interesting, the whole idea of rags or tatters. This comes from, what do you think? The leftovers of maybe making pasta. Get a little hole like that, you just say a Hail Mary. Okay. Then you turn that off. And this is too big, of course, to use just like this. So what I do is I just cut it randomly. And if I want to make gossips, well, then what I do is just take and just make strips, like so. And I just take them. Sometimes these are also called lover's knots, just like that. That's gossips, but if you were in Tuscany, this would be called Cenci. So you would make a little slit there and a little slit there. Why? Just because it's fun to see.
That's right.
And it's going to fry up nicely. So why don't you make some? Why don't you do a couple of those? And also you can do different things with this. You can do bow ties, which is something that is always fun to do with children. Right. Making bow ties. You see how stretchy that dough is? So you can stretch it. You can even make them longer if you want to. So there's your little gossips. And you know, I think the name probably comes from the fact that you're having a cup of tea or a glass of wine, you're talking with your friends, and what are you talking about? Who knows?
Oh, that's right.
You know, it may be gossip, it may be something really important. But the point is that you're having fun together, and that's the whole idea of making these. So now for these, instead of honey, I do powdered sugar. Okay. So I just give it, this just gives it that real carnival. But whenever I do this, I always think I'm walking through the towns of Italy, you know, for some fair that's going on or a sagra. I like a lot of powdered sugar on mine. You want to make sure the top doesn't come off the sugar can.
That's for sure.
I've done that before. Well, what are we waiting for?
I don't know. Let's dig in. These look splendid.
Now they should be crispy.